I'm not a fan of excuses. When I ask you, why your close rate is what it is, and your excuses, it's the tools we have, it's the website, it's the CRM, it's the digital marketing campaign that we have, it's the email blast, it's the templates, it's the process, then change it. I know it sounds simple, and I know sometimes it isn't always that simple, but change it. If you believe that strongly that it's affecting you that negatively, change it. Don't be afraid to ask the question why. A lot of times we fall into the hole of, well, the CRM said they can't change it. Did you ask them why? Well, no, they said they can't. Ask them why. Why can't you change this? So simply by asking that question, you can uncover a lot of reasonings behind, or you can find the motivation behind why the thing was built that way in the first place. But at the end of the day, it's not really the tools that are negatively affecting how you do your job. Granted, I've seen it happen, but not for a long term. If someone's 6, 8, 10 months where there's a lack of production there, you can't necessarily blame the tools for 100% of that. You know what I mean? At some point, it has to fall to your shoulders. So I did a mystery shop, and there was so much focus on, oh, these tools all suck, and I'm like, yeah, but the tools didn't write this first email that he wrote, the next day. It was him that wrote that email that sucks. It wasn't the tools. So I guess what I'm saying is the criticism of the tools you have, and the CRMs, generally speaking, CRMs are pretty much the same. Vin Solutions, eLeads, Dealer Socket, they have the same basic structure to them, right? They manage your customer database, they provide a to-do list, they organize what your follow-up tasks are. It's pretty all much the same. So blaming the tool for it without really knowing how to use the tool, maybe, and maybe it just requires another training by the CRM rep. So ask, hey, can we have another CRM training? Because we just changed owners for this store, so isn't there some kind of package deal or offer that you can get us so we stay with your product for this CRM tool, so we all know how to maximize all the tools available to us in the CRM? And don't be afraid to ask for that, because sometimes that can be the difference between a little bit more of success that maybe you think is the CRM's hindering. So I highly recommend that. But think about it this way. The tools, the processes, the digital marketing, all those little things can change. But really, honestly, what doesn't change, generally speaking, are owners and general managers and you. So find owners and general managers that you like. Find a healthy, for you, working environment. And the other stuff will evolve and change. They're constantly evolving and changing. Stores are always changing, website providers and CRMs. And so, complaining about one over another is just kind of pointless to me, because they're going to change. They always do. But if you could find a good work environment, a healthy work environment with a good GM that you like, or a good owner that you like, and your good direct manager you like, I think that's infinitely more important than the tools you have there. And that's a direct indicator of your success. So find a place that's a healthy work environment for you, that values and respects your opinion, that you feel like it's a place you can speak up and say, hey, I think that we need to do this because I think this would be more successful for our business. Find a place that you can do that at, and that place will be worth its weight in gold. But if you're just complaining about the tools and there's nothing wrong with the management or the direct, the ownership of the store, I think you're complaining just to hear yourself complain. I think you're complaining just to make excuses for the lack of enthusiasm or the lack of motivation for you to actually do your job. And I hesitate before I say that because I know it comes across really harsh. And the last thing that doesn't change is your attitude, your general attitude about when you go to work, about your general attitude about lead handling, talking to customers, dealing with the different problems. That's all to be encompassed within the satisfaction of the job, right? So I'll tell you one major caveat when I came over from the working in a dealership to working for the corporate side of things. You don't get the luxury of excuses, because it's all on you. It's all, at least in my position, it's all on me to find the tools that I need to do my job right. So I don't have the excuse of, oh, well, these tools suck, and just throwing my hand in. I've had plenty of times where my computer's crashed. I've had plenty of times where I've lost things that I was working on. I've had plenty of times where I've had internet issues. I've had plenty of things that I could have made excuses about, but I didn't make excuses about them, because it really doesn't get me anywhere. At the end of the day, it was really 100% all on me to make it work. So if you're thinking, well, hey, I think I want to transition to the corporate world, and you're still living your life day to day in the dealership with excuses for why you can't do your job, or why you're not valued in your job, or your opinion isn't respected, you need to take a little bit of a harder look inside, because when you flip over to corporate, those excuses, those possibilities for excuses, they're just flat out straight up not there anymore. So I would really highly recommend, even if you're not looking at corporate, you want to stay where you're at, go a day without making excuses for your performance, or your sales close rate, or you not meeting your goals, or go a day without making excuses for it, and just do it. And another thing I would challenge you to is, don't be afraid to ask why. Like, why does this work this way? Help me understand so I can use this tool better to my advantage. By asking that question simply and not putting people on the defensive when you're asking them, you don't want to ask them, hey, why does this suck? Like, why does this suck? You don't want to ask them that. Explain to me why it works this way, this particular way that you just told me, because I want to be able to maximize my effectiveness with this tool. So explain to me why it works that way, why that way is the way that you guys set it up to work that way. Ask that why question a lot more, because you're going to get infinitely more help on how to maximize the tools you do have access to, and ultimately make yourself successful. And that's all I got for this week. Thanks for watching. Happy selling.